ground. I also used to work for the Space Labs up in Boulder, Colorado, which is still up there. It's in the Department of Commerce building, of all things, which has this huge underground network. But part of what the Space Labs do is they work on different projects. And the one I used to work on, which was on at the time, it was a classified satellite known as the Advanced Composition Explorer, or the ACE satellite. You can go online and find this satellite to this day. What it does is it gives real-time solar weather updates. We have a satellite at an area known as the L1 point, where the gravity of the Earth and the gravity of the sun is equal, and it just looks at the sun constantly. And with different cameras and different sensors to detect what's coming out of the sun.
Solar flares and such.
Solar flares
right,
and such,
right.
Yeah.
What did the satellite pick up?
Well, it picks up these solar flares that's coming out of the sun, but one of the other things we also noticed regularly was that there was UFOs or UAPs coming out of the sun. And so we have to wonder why. Why are they coming out of the sun? What are they doing? Where are they coming from? Are they plasma beings that just live in the sun? Or are they actual craft from another part of the galaxy or another part of the universe that are entering through wormholes? And one of them just happens to come out of our sun. By that logic, there is a theory that there's a small black hole in the center of the sun. And this may be why when we see solar flares coming out of one side of the sun, we also see them coming out of the opposite side, which is almost like an event horizon, right? Which does suggest that there could be a small black hole in the center of our sun, and that is being used as a wormhole for craft of other civilizations out in the universe to be coming through, and why they're here, is anyone's guess, but it's my opinion, and this isn't a personal opinion.
So you're the grandmaster of the Templar Order. At least right now, we know there's if you look online, there's
lineages,
there's about 500 different Templar orders around. I myself am part of SMOTJ and Sovereign Military Order of the Temple of Jerusalem, which is another Templar order, mostly charity-based, helping kids and stuff in the Holy Land. But can you talk a little bit about your particular lineage and why that's important, how it got founded?
Sure. So you just heard the bio on who these guys are. They're openly acknowledging themselves to be Freemasons and the Order of the Knights Templar. Now I'm going to give you a little bit longer of a piece of this video where he talks about some of the things at Denver International Airport, and then we'll go over my relationship to the Sun Tunnel and how his confirmation of these satellites that are monitoring the sun and see UFOs or UAPs coming through the sun is a pretty big deal, because I videotaped this with my own camera quite by accident, posted it on YouTube, and the next day they erased my channel, removed all of my videos, removed all of my 550 subscribers down to 0, and then opened my channel back up to me again the next day. I don't believe, I don't suppose, I don't suspect, I don't theorize that such a sun tunnel exists. I know this from my own personal experience of recording it with my phone, and validated thereafter by YouTube wiping my channel out in a form of censorship that has never been seen before or since. It triggered a national security and international security protocol when I uploaded that video of the sun tunnel opening and closing, also known as a Stargate, and the craft that were coming and going through the sun tunnel while it's open. Rather than just plasma beings, I have images of some of these circular spheres that are going through the tunnel. One of them shows a triangular shape in the middle of the circle, indicating that it is a craft, and it isn't necessarily from some other dimension. It could be ours, and we could punch a hole in the magnetic field in order to get in and out, directly in alignment with the sun, in order, let me make sure, Okay, I don't know. Oh, now it's got me a little spot. Let's get rid of that. We might punch a hole in the magnetic field in alignment with the sun in order that people on the ground do not see it, to keep them unaware of the nature of their existence within this closed system. You can't let them see the door opening and closing, so you do it in alignment with the sun. It's not necessarily the sun itself. Beings aren't necessarily coming and going to and through the sun, possibly through an opening in the magnetic field that is punctured in alignment with the sun for the purpose of camouflage. Let's watch a little bit more of what this guy talks about, because he's going to talk about the UAPs, aka UFOs, and how they have a conscious connection with the observer through technology that connects them with our own thoughts. Like I've said many times, there is zero difference between what the modern day truthers call V2K, voice to skull technology, where they can basically broadcast a radio signal on the same wavelength as your brain waves and communicate to you through a still small voice within. And thus there is functionally no difference between this modern day V2K technology that some people call the voice of God weapon, and it can be used as a tool or a weapon for benefit and for constructive purposes, or to really break a person down and destroy them. Zero difference between V2K technology, what the more primitive people referred to as the still small voice within, from the Holy Spirit, from Jesus, aka he who is not of this world, or telepathic communications from extraterrestrials. It's all the same thing functionally. And people say, well, God doesn't use technology, but at the same time they say, yeah, this is fallen angel technology, so only the bad angels use technology, but good angels don't? Yeah, some people are a little conflicted, haven't thought this through too much. My point is, after the reset, when people no longer have access to electricity and radio frequencies and don't understand anything about that, they refer to this still small voice within as something spiritual. They cannot understand it in terms of a technology that communicates with you directly into your mind. Like Elon Musk trying to build a BCI, brain-computer interface, and that doesn't necessarily mean you're connected up through wires. It can be done wirelessly, and those who still have that technology after the reset, after humanity gets set back into the Stone Age, can continue using it, communicating to people silently and wirelessly through this technology, and those people they're communicating to won't have the technological conceptual vocabulary to be able to understand radio, wireless, Wi-Fi, what we now call V2K, so they refer to it as the still small voice within, and that's how God communicates to you through the Holy Spirit. Let me give you a little bit more of this guy before I keep running my mouth.
So I belong to a number of Templar lineages too. By the way, include
It didn't go all the way.
It looks like we're in harmony, and it shows all the children of the world with the different flags all being in harmony together, as together, and the animals thriving and vegetation growing, and what it's saying. Look, we have a choice about what our future.
He is talking right here about the artwork at Denver International Airport and the conspiracy theories surrounding it, and how his family had played a part in creating some of those new posters, and he himself had a part in placing the placard in Braille on what people have seen as the New World Airport stuff at Denver International Airport. That's what he's talking about now, and he's about to talk about these UAPs and how we call them in with our mind.
There is. And we can choose the destruction, or we can choose the harmony. Now, conspiracy theorists have interpreted this as, look, it says that we have to go through some war where everything dies in order for us to then achieve the harmony. And that's not really what it's saying. It's saying is we have a choice. And there's other art like that throughout the airport. But and then in more recent years, you know, I also have family members that are responsible for the redevelopment of the terminal area. And so we've put up all kinds of, kind of tongue-in-cheek, while the airport's under construction, these, they're almost like billboards that say things like, Denver International Airport, is it really a secret alien lizard lair?
And the answer is yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Well, and I know we're basically up on time here, but I think it would be a disservice not to at least mention it.
Yeah.
So your experience, UFOs, UAPs.
Yeah.
And the satellite to the sun, for sure.
Oh, sure,
Yeah.
sure. Well, so I have done work with bringing down UAPs in the past. I used to do work for CSETI with Dr. Stephen Greer, where we basically have what's called a C5 experience, where it's personal interaction with UFOs or UAPs. The very fact that we can even bring them down, that process is through a conscious, intentional attunement with them, where we bring them in. The fact that we can even do that, again, suggests we're living in a consciousness field, and they've developed some sort of a consciousness technology interface that allows them to do that, to tune in on our thoughts and bring them in. And we've done that when I lead my tours to Egypt and to the Yucatan. Usually there's a part of it where we actually bring in UFOs or UAPs, so everyone can see them. And it's, and again, it's just proof that we're connected to a bigger sea of consciousness out there, and that all these beings is the reason why they don't show up most of the time is because we're terrible people. we're constantly fighting with each other. If you were driving by a territory like Compton or something, where people are constantly fighting all the time, do you really want to pull over and get gas and interact with everyone? Probably not. Well, it's no different with them. They don't want to interact with us unless we are in the right mindset of wanting to connect. And I think as we start to do that more, we're going to start to see them showing up more. So that's that background. I also used to work for the Space Labs up in Boulder, Colorado, which is still up there. It's in the Department of Commerce building, of all things, which has this huge underground network. But part of what the Space Labs do is they work on different projects. And the one I used to work on, which was on at the time it was a classified satellite, and it was the Advanced Composition Explorer, or the ACE satellite. You can go online and find the satellite to this day. What it does is it gives real-time solar weather updates. We have a satellite at an area known as the L1 point, where the gravity of the Earth and the gravity of the sun is equal, and it just looks at the sun constantly. And with different cameras and different sensors to detect what's coming out of the sun.
Solar flares and such.
Solar flares and such, right. Yeah. And this is important to us because on a lower level, those solar flares can wipe out our satellites. They can wipe out our power grids in different ways that can really affect us. And in fact, if there was a large enough solar flare like the Carrington event, which took place in the late 1800s, if that were to happen today, it could wipe out our entire electrical system. It could wipe out everything we have stored digitally, all of our information. It could stop pumps that pump water and sewage and everything else. And the Defense Department has determined that if it was a large enough solar flare, within 2 months, 85% of the population could die. So we want an early warning detection system so that we can install martial law or whatever needs to happen to try to keep civilization going, if that were to happen, in whatever minor forms we could. And that will happen, by the way, at some point, maybe not in our lifetimes, but sometime within the next 100 years or 200 years, it could happen. And we are so dependent on our technology. It's our Achilles heel. And if that was where we wiped out, we would be literally brought back to the Stone Age. We'd be living in Little House of Prairie, right? And most people don't know how to do things anymore. So we'd be in real trouble.
What did the satellite pick up?
Well, it picks up these solar flares that's coming out of the sun. But one of the other things we also noticed regularly was that there was UFOs or UAPs coming out of the sun. And so we have to wonder why. Why are they coming out of the sun? What are they doing? Where are they coming from? Are they plasma beings that just live in the sun? Or are they actual craft from another part of the galaxy or the other part of the universe that are entering through wormholes, and one of them just happens to come out of our sun? By that logic, there's a theory that there's a small black hole in the center of the sun, and this may be why when we see solar flares coming out of one side of the sun, we also see them coming out of the opposite side, which is almost like an event horizon, right? Which does suggest that there could be a small black hole in the center of our sun, and that is being used as a wormhole for craft of other civilizations out in the universe to be coming through, and why they're here, is anyone's guess. But it's my opinion, and this isn't a personal opinion, that the Earth is, again, it's like an Eden. It's like a preserving ground for all different types of life to survive. And it's our job to keep that going and to tend it and to ensure that it survives. Unfortunately, we're doing a horrible job at that right now. And if we keep going the way we're going to kill this planet. And the answer isn't just to kill this planet and then move on to a new one. It's not that simple. I mean, life is a precious thing. It may be abundant throughout the universe, but there are centers of preservation of it. And I truly believe the Earth is one of these centers of preservation, and that we are supposed to be tending that and taking care of it. And we're doing a terrible job right now. And that could be part of the reason why these UAPs are showing up too, because they're concerned that we're about to destroy this. And I do believe, and this is kind of I hate to look at it this way, but if we get to the point where we are too bad at managing this, they will step in. And I don't think that'll look good, So, but I think they're trying in a subtle way to influence us to connect. Part of connecting with them is about recognizing this sea of consciousness that we live in. And the more we get in tune with that, the more in harmony we're going to start to be on our own planet. And that's what we have to do. And even if we go to other planets, we have to have that mindset. We can't be bringing our war and our strife and our selfishness to other worlds. And I don't think they're going to allow us to do that at the end of the day. So we have to evolve to this greater point of connectedness if we're going to survive.
And one last question, and I know that it could probably...
This is part of the thumbnail that I used for the video that I'm about to show you, called the Last Sun Tunnel video. And it says, Jesus says, "I have cast fire upon the world, and see, I am guarding it until it blazes." It cuts that part off in the thumbnail for whatever reason. It cuts off the words over here. And I should actually be doing this sideways. Oh well. I'll show you here in a second, as long as you got the words. And it shows a picture of Jesus as the Son, the S-U-N of God. Turns out I made the final sun tunnel video in vertical video format because that's how the original screenshots are that I still have access to. It's 28 minutes long. I go through here and I show you these UAPs. Let's find a good spot. The whole thing's good. Considering the content, that there's a frickin' tunnel in the sun, a stargate that opened right in front of me, and that you can see craft going through it. That's what this video is about. I even show you, I think I show you the email between me and YouTube, where the day that they froze my account and locked me out, they sent me an email that said, "You're in violation of our community guidelines and standards." And then later on that day, they unlocked my channel again and said, "After further review," there's a good one. There's one of the craft right there that just looks like a circle with a dot in the middle. And there's one down here below the cloud horizon right there, center screen. It's a little harder to see. And some of them, they're more easy to see than others. The colored bands around the sun, that's where the flux lines of the magnetic field have broken and solar plasma is coming in. And it looks the colors of the aurora borealis. There's even one over here nestled in the clouds, right there, center screen, looking like the Death Star. But at some point, there's one with the mountain as the background where you can see a triangle craft in the middle of one of these circles that are clearly going through the sun. When I recorded this, it was a 19-second video that I took by accident, and for 6 seconds of that 9 seconds, those circular bands, they actually look more like octagons. They all have flat edges. But those bands of color around the sun, those concentric rings, were all moving inward towards the sun like the tunnel is going out. Rather than from the center moving out, they were going from the outer edge, moving in, constricting towards the sun. As soon as I uploaded that video, within 24 hours, they locked me out of my channel, said I was in violation of their community guidelines and standards. A few hours later, they unlocked my channel, sent me another email that said, "After review, you're not in any violation of our guidelines and standards, and we apologize for any inconveniences." And I had 0 videos and 0 subscribers at that point. They removed all of my videos that I'd been uploading for 8 months and reduced my subscriber count down to 0, like they emptied the data cache out of the account and then reopened it back up for me. And if you go to my channel, go to videos, right here you can go to home, videos, shorts, go to videos, and over here where it says latest, click it down here to oldest, and it puts my oldest video up top, so you don't have to scroll all the way to the bottom. The #1 video that you see on there with 512 views 5 years ago is the video that I tried to upload when I discovered I'm locked out of my channel. They've locked me out of my channel when I was trying to upload this video. It says TR3B, where I'm showing you at a Staples. As I promised. I'm showing you that you can see a triangle within one of those circles. Right there. And I'm filming it at a Staples where I uploaded some of these. I'm outlining the triangle there for you. Back up, you can see the triangle. Talking about gonna go freak these dudes out. And this is the video that I tried to upload when I discovered I've been locked out of my channel. And it shows the triangle within the circle of one of these orbs that's going through the sun tunnel. That was the only video on my channel once they unlocked it. I had one video. The one that I tried to upload while I was locked out. The rest of these are showing screenshots that I took, printed out on paper. Now I can flip it back sideways again. I go through a little bit of the plasma firewood because that was still a thing, and that's basically all my channel consisted of. And so I've got these printed out on paper, where I'm showing you, look, there's these orbs. There's 2 of them right there. Let's take a closer look. One here, center screen. One here, center screen. There's 2. And then there's this one over here in the clouds. So this sun tunnel, this stargate, this portal in alignment with our sun is something I have personal experience of. And to hear them confirm that yes, this is what's being seen on a regular basis with our satellites explains why they locked my channel, emptied all the data, and gave it back. Said, "Our apologies for any inconveniences." Now, Any of you who would like to participate, he named the satellite that's available online, the Advanced Composition Explorer, the ACE satellite. And he said at the time when he was working on it, it was a classified satellite. Now, I doubt you're going to be able to go in the Wayback Machine and find my sun tunnel video for the 24 hours that it was up on the web. But you might be able to go on that ACE satellite and rewind it back to the date of my very first video. The day before is when I uploaded the sun tunnel. You'd have to look in the details about the video, see if it gives you the date. It was uploaded March 14th. So the video that I uploaded March 13th or March 12th was the sun tunnel, and I uploaded it the same day I took the video. So you could go back on that ACE satellite, Advanced Composition Explorer, rewind to March 12th and March 13th, and it was around 8 or 9 in the morning, and be able to see the sun portal opening up and craft coming and going through that sun tunnel, aka Stargate. But I know none of you will. You've got more important things. I can show you the fucking trees burning on the inside all around you that are going to make you and your family members their next victims, and I don't even get you up off your ass. I don't want to end it on a sour note like that, so let's check out some Teletubbies baby sun images and talk about the little soul in the sun. The little soul and the sun, the little soul in the sun, potato, potato, tomato, tomato. It's a children's story that talks about an angel that lived in the sun. Let's just say in the sun, in heaven, whatever. Oh, by the way, this guy verifying the sun tunnel and the craft that come and go through it might also give us a better insight as to what it means from the Christian tradition when they say the only way to the Father is through the Son. The S-U-N. Just like I showed you a minute ago, Jesus being portrayed as the sun. You can see the light is coming from his face down to the ground, making the plant life grow. That is a combination between the S-O-N of God that we call Jesus and the S-U-N of God that we look up in the sky and see every day, and it's making the flowers and trees grow down below him there. And he says, I have cast fire upon the world, and see, I am guarding it until it burns. Until it blazes, excuse me. So, the idea that the only way to the Father is through the Son may actually be confirmed scientifically from the video that I took to the Advanced Composition Explorer ACE satellite. Until then, doctrine and dogma keeps people who think it makes them a good person to close their mind and take the first upload of information they ever received and never learn and grow, discarding old ideas with new. That is the process of learning. So people coming and going, craft coming and going through what appears to be the sun, sure would explain the only way to the Father is through the Son. And people that have looked into it and been open-minded to these ideas know damn well Astrotheology is Christianity. It's just another version of all the other sun-worshipping religions, from Mithra to, there's a long list of them, Apollo, all of them. Probably 20 or 30 sun-worshipping religions with the same basic story as Jesus, born December 25th to a virgin mother, died on a cross, rose again 3 days later, had 12 disciples, walked on water, was the light of the world, etc., etc., etc. Those 12 disciples are more like the 12 zodiacal symbols in astrology, and it's referencing the S-U-N of God and personifying it, or anthropomorphizing it. I prefer just personifying it. Anyways, back to the little soul in the sun. So this little soul up there in the sun is, he's heard about this thing called forgiveness, and he says, that sounds awesome. I'm just going to give you a brief synopsis. This is a reading of the children's story. It's 14 minutes long. Link will be in the description. where the little angel wants to go experience this thing called forgiveness. And he asks God if I can do that. That's what I want to do. And God says, well, you have to go down to earth and you'll have to talk one of these other angels into going down there with you in order to give you something to forgive them for. Because up here, there ain't no one doing nothing that you could possibly forgive them for. You'd have to go to earth to experience that kind of experience and practice this thing called forgiveness. So this little angel looks around and tries to talk the other angels into going to earth with him to violate me in such a way that I can practice this forgiveness thing. And one of the other angels says, sure, I'll go with you on one condition. While we're there, don't forget who we are and why we're there. And of course, the link will be in the description to the last sun tunnel video, where I go over the screenshots that I had remaining. When I took the sun tunnel video and then uploaded it, I erased it from my memory. Censorship was not a thing. I thought I've got a copy of it uploaded to my YouTube page, and the phone that I was using at the time could only hold 30 minutes worth of video in the memory card. So as soon as I'd take some pictures and video, I'd have to delete them in order to take any more video. So I deleted it from my phone. And then they deleted it from my YouTube account, and the only thing I had left over were the screenshots from that video. I go over those screenshots very thoroughly in the video titled The Last Sun Tunnel Video. If you would like to see for yourself the sun tunnel opening and closing and craft going through it, I have the still frame images. The fact that that sun tunnel exists proved that there is a breakaway society. The people that come and go through that tunnel and know about the world on the other side, and then the rest of us who don't even know about the doorway or anything about the world on the other side.